Welcome to X Corner. I'm here to add a little mutation to the Superhero Crew. I'll be covering the X comics for the week of January 30th, 2019. This week we have 3 comics. Age of X-Men Alpha number 1, Dead Man Logan number 3, and X-Force number 2. Spoilers, of course. We'll start with Age of X-Men Alpha number 1, written by Lonnie Nadler and Zach Thompson, art by Ramon Rosanas. The Age of X-Men has begun. The world is at peace. Everyone is a mutant, and all the villains are gone. The X-Men are an emergency response team, and we see them dealing with a new mutant's powers. A little girl has frozen everyone in an area, and the X-Men have to go find her so she could be sent to the summer school for training. The X-Men are Nightcrawler, Bishop, Nature Girl, Storm, Magneto, Jean Grey, X-Man, and a one-armed Colossus. They find the girl and bring her to the school run by Angel. Everything seems perfect. At the school we see all the regular X-Men teaching and such. Eventually you see Glob gardening. This is when things seem to be a bit off. There is a zoom in on its eye, and it seems to be transfixed on something. That story will be told in Next Gen. We then get the X-Men hanging out, and we get tidbits of the past. Also, Jean and Bishop are in a relationship, which it seems isn't allowed for some reason. Nightcrawler is a movie star, and he'll have his own series called The Amazing Nightcrawler. Back with Bishop, though, after he's gone home, we get the first crack in the perfect veneer of this world. A team breaks in consisting of Monet's alter ego maybe? Psylocke and Iceman. They look very Nazi-esque as they accuse Bishop of having a forbidden relationship. They eventually subdue him, and he is sent off to prison, it seems. Bishop will be in the Prisoner X miniseries, and the Extremists have their own miniseries too. Jean's mind has been wiped also, as she can't remember what she did the night before, and the whole team have forgotten Bishop even existed, and now X-23 has always been on the team. They're having a meeting about the new threat that might be starting from Apocalypse, although it doesn't seem too threatening as he's preaching free love, so Apocalypse is a hippie and Apocalypse in the X-Tracks. Mostly this was a setup issue, much like X-Men have been doing for their events for years. We get a feel for the world, and we get to start seeing where it's being manipulated by X-Man. It really reminds me of the House of M in the way that the world is completely different, but the characters are all there. I'm excited for this event for a few reasons. Firstly, the X creative teams have been knocking it out of the park recently, but mostly because I love altered realities. In the House of M, it was Wolverine who broke free first, but we'll see who it is in this one. As a setup issue, this did its job very well, and the art was great. From the perfect exterior to the rotten core, we get the smallest glimpse of everything in this world. 8 out of 10. Then there's Dead Man Logan number 3, written by Ed Brisson, art by Mike Henderson. Logan thinks the Avengers are the Sinister Six thanks to Mysterio, and he's attacking them, thinking they are protecting Mysterio. Meanwhile, Mysterio and the villains with him are enjoying the show. Tony tries to fly Logan away, but gets his armor slashed off for the effort. She-Hulk pounds Logan, but he slashes her Achilles, as Ghost Rider saves Tony. Glob catches the news and goes to tell the X-Men that they have to enact the failsafe Logan left with them. Miss Sinister is fed up with the Millennials and leaves the villains' viewing party. Sin asks her what's up with their attitude, and she explains that they blew the one chance they had at surprise attack. Sin says he'll just do it to another hero, like Thor, and rule the world that way. She says they can give Mysterio Alaska to leave him alone. Miss Sinister explains that in Logan's timeline, the Red Skull just killed Mysterio to make sure he didn't use his abilities on the villains. It turns out, though, that wasn't Sin. It was Mysterio, and now he knows his fate. Logan is going nuts, slicing up Ghost Rider's car, but Mysterio releases him just as he's about to stab Ghost Rider in the face. The X-Men show up and take Logan away under the Avengers' protest, but Captain America lets them go rather than start another Avengers vs. X-Men event. This was an interesting development. Now that Mysterio knows what the villains were planning for him, he's off. But where's he going? What's he going to do? The scene of Glob finding out about the fight and running to tell the X-Men was hilarious. And in one panel you could perfectly picture him running down the hallway goofily just saying, "No, no, no." The overall was okay, but I think the layouts were much better than the finishes. This is just the beginning of the Maxi series, so I can't imagine where it would go next, which is fun and leaves me feeling much better about this series than it did at the end of last issue. 8 out of 10. Lastly, we have X-Force number 2, written by Ed Brisson again, art by Dylan Burnett, and cover by Pepe Larraz. We start with X-Force attacking a convoy that is sending mutants off to camps. They free the mutants and bring them to a makeshift refugee camp, including one of the guards who is a mutant who claims to be working on the inside. Meanwhile, back at the Transea government, we find out they're working with Ahab. And at first it seems like that's where they got their future tech from, but he implies he came here because of the tech, so it's not him. He's supposedly helping them find a way to cure a mutant threat. The new president thinks it's a disease, and his son even contracted it. Ahab tells no one in the world believes that, but he won't listen. Needless to say, he's a bit unhinged. Back at the refugee camp, Shatterstar attacks Kid Cable because he still doesn't trust him, and only Cannonball showing up stops them. The mutant guard from earlier wants to go back in and work from the inside again. X-Force obviously doesn't trust him, so they send Deathlock undercover. He has an image inducer that allows him to pass as human. Back with the bad guys, it seems they have portals to somewhere in their basement. An emissary comes out, and he demands that once again keep Transea a haven for mutants as per their agreement. They provided them the future guns. The unhinged leader doesn't like that deal, so orders his men to gun down the emissary, and throw him back to the portal, thereby declaring war on whoever's on the other side. Back at the refugee camp, they've been found out and a bunch of mechs attack. Oh man, the series is really good. Let's start with that cover. It's like a modern interpretation of the 90s feel, and it's great. Larez knows how to draw X-Men. Burnett, on the other hand, well, his art takes a little getting used to. It's very stylized, and at first it threw me off, but then I kind of started liking it. It has a dynamism to it even when people are standing still. The writing, and dare I say editing, are spot on though. In perfect timing, this issue mentions the events of Uncanny X-Men number 10, and that the world hates mutants and aren't going to help them here, and that the X-Men and the mansion are gone. Finally, everything works out for once. I also like that Cannonball is the moral compass of the group. Where Domino seems to be the leader, and Warpath, Shatterstar, and Deathlock are ready to kill anything, Cannonball is keeping them on the side of the right. I was so surprised to see Ahab too, and the twist that he isn't the one in the future tech was great. It should be fun to see who is on the other side of that portal. This comic could have easily gone the way of Weapon X, and just been a total 90s fest. But Brisson is right on line between 90s excess and good storytelling. This so far is really, really fun. So 8.5 out of 10. A good week? That's it up for more great weeks. Each of these comics led to the future interesting tales, and I'm so excited for the upcoming stories. The Age of X-Men have started off strong, but we'll see if all these minis can be good. I have a feeling they won't be all great. One can hope. X-Force was the big surprise. Last issue it was fine, but it's stepped up a notch and now it's a must-read. What did I expect from Brisson though? Next week we get Uncanny again, so that'll be fun seeing what's happening now that the X-Men are gone. See you there!